Hey, this is Matt in the Man Cave. It is late night. It's after dark. I hope you had a totally awesome day. Hey guys, today we're going to be in what? Isaiah's writings. We're going to be in what? Isaiah 43 verse 2. Listen to this. And when I read this, see if this is you. See if it's you now, it has been you, or if you think this might happen in the future. It says this: when you go through deep waters, I will be with you. How many of you in your life felt like God just threw you off the boat? And you're like, Matt, that's my world right now. Or Matt, I can remember a time 5 years ago. And some of you are thinking, well, that's never happened to me. Hold on. You're like, Matt, what are you talking about? Listen very carefully. Everything, it's like you're on a cruise ship, okay? And you're cruising along, and you know on cruise ships, everything is provided. I mean, if you've ever gone on a cruise, the food is immaculate. I mean, what you couldn't order at a restaurant is there available. You almost get sick because the food is so good. I mean, every single night you're getting a big fat 3-inch steak, you're getting lobster, you're getting all these different foods that normally you really would not order at a restaurant because it's so expensive. And desserts galore. And so you're eating and you're just like, I gotta walk. I mean, so you're walking along the deck like a walrus because you've eaten so much. It's almost like I'm gonna get my money's worth out of this buffet. I may not do anything at all, but we end up doing some stuff. Okay, some people swim, jacuzzi, they have that surfboard thing that you do. There's dancing if you like dancing. Here's the thing, there's gambling. Don't gamble. So friend, you're having the time of a lifetime on the ship. I mean, there's movies, there's everything for you to do. Okay, and oftentimes you want me to tell you a free man cave tip of the day. You're like, Matt, throw it at me, okay? A lot of times when no one's around that knows us, we kind of stray a little bit. And you're like, what are you talking about? Don't say, what are you talking about, Matt? Listen, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of times when people, okay, that we're normally around who would what? Keep us in check, okay, aren't around and we're kind of going solo. Imagine it's just you on the cruise ship. Sometimes we're tempted to do things that we know are not right. And so let's just say you're watching some stuff on the old free TV, and you know it's not glorifying to God, and you're putting a few back, you know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, you're sitting there at the bar, and you thought, hey, I'm just going to have one. No harm, no foul. You talking to me? Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to con me into drinking. I'm not going to drink. Okay. And look, so you put one down and you look down. You're a married man. You look down the end of the bar and there's a beautiful woman. You're just like looking at her and you're doing that thing. You know what men do? Watch this. The girl's over here, but they just don't want to stare at her because that would be obvious. So they go like this. They act like they're looking around the room. Like that really works, guys. You know, women see that a million miles a day. I mean, they kind of panoramic, and they'll spend 2 seconds there and keep on going. Women are onto you. They know that, but you just keep on looking at her and drinking, looking at her and drinking, and you're toasted. I mean, legitimately, you're drunk as a freaking skunk. And then she finally goes off with her husband. She was waiting on him. Oh. Does that change things in your mind? Yeah. I was just looking at, yeah, like Job 31:1. I've made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I look upon a maiden? I'm going somewhere with this story. And you're out on the deck, and you're walking to your room, and you slip, and you fall over the rail. It's 2 a.m, and you go tumbling down the side of the cruise ship into the water. Okay? Back to our verse today. See if this doesn't sound familiar. When you go through deep waters, I will be with you. What would be the first thing you would do in the water? Because it's cold. But let's say, by God's grace, you're somewhere and the water's warm. Okay, all you have to do is worry about what? Sharks and whales. I'm just saying. And you're screaming, but you're out of breath and you're so drunk. You're like, hey! And some of you are screaming right now. You know in this verse what it says? Even if you do wrong, even if you made a mistake, even if it isn't your fault, the answer is always the same. We cry out to God. Guys, let me share this with you. Many of you have gotten in trouble, and it really, when you think about it, it was your own fault. Poor decisions, poor choices, okay? Some of you are in trouble, and it really is no fault of yours. You're like, how did this happen? You know, guys, it's so funny because it reminds me of Job, chapter 5, verse 7. Listen to Job. Job understood this premise before you and I were even around. He says this, but man is born of trouble even as sparks fly upward. Meaning, have you ever been sitting there at a campfire and I don't know what it is about just sitting there. It's kind of a man thing, and we love to throw wood on, and we like to poke the fire. That's part of being a man. If you're a man and you can sit in front of a fire and not put more wood on, or not be tempted to put more wood on and not stoke the fire, something's wrong with you, because that is the DNA of a man. I mean, really, there's something going wrong if you don't want to fool with the fire. But as I'm sitting there watching the fire, sparks fly up into the air. And that's what Job's saying. Just as sparks fly up every time you have a campfire, trouble is going to come our way. What comes our way oftentimes is the unexpected, that which we were not signed up for. I didn't sign up for this, Lord. Oh, I forgot to tell you this. When you gave your life to the Lordship of Jesus Christ and you asked Him into your heart and you prayed and you got things settled with Him that you're a rotten, filthy sinner and you wanted forgiveness and you didn't want to go to the hot place and you wanted to be with Him and you asked for help in this life and you told Him something like this: Lord, I am not perfect. I need forgiveness. I'm still doing this junk over here. Would you help me? And I don't know what your prayer was. I know what it was in my life. When you gave your life to the Lord, He signed you up on the dotted line to send some different things your way. Things that you would never want in your life. You know what I'm saying? Because you're like, I didn't sign up for this. You actually did, because God has to get you and I from this place over here, like you were before you were saved, and like some of you are still right now. And He has to get you to this place over here. When you look into the mirror, who do you see? You see Jesus. And for some of us, guys, that is a lengthy process with a lot involved. I've noticed early on in life, I used to think it was like this. We went from A to B to C to D to E, meaning this: in my Christian pilgrimage, my Christian walk, I used to think this, okay? I'm here right now. The logical choice, because Matt is so smart and so intelligent, is God's going to take me from A to B. And once we do B, we're going to go from B to C and C to D. But it's not like that. It's like God has mixed everything up, and it's more like a zigzag through the Christian life. It's like I go down this road, and I really think at the end of the road is the rainbow with the pot of gold. And guess what's at the end of the rainbow? All of a sudden, I've been driving down Bob's Road, 55 miles an hour. It's gravel, and it's flicking it up, and I can hear it. My wife's saying, slow down, slow down. You know what I'm saying? And we're going through all kinds of debris fields, and only to find this big yellow sign that says road closed. I got to go backwards. Guys, the road's so narrow, so there is no going, turning around. I'm going to go backwards, okay? Only to find another road that I truly believe this is the way, this is God's will, this is the path I'm to take. And here's the thing, there's another sign: obstacle, detour, 50 miles out of the way. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then I go to another place, and what's going on? I'm running low on gas, and there isn't a gas station in sight. I'm looking at the light blinking at me like it's Christmas time, blink, 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 blink. And the only thing I see in this one-horse town is a Dairy Queen, okay? And I asked the person at the DQ, okay, hey, where's the local gas station? Oh, not a problem, not a problem. About 60 miles that way in the big city. It has 2 stoplights. See, guys, watch this very carefully. God has a plan for your life. And so often, it's not what we signed up for. What I mean is, we never imagined what God was going to do within our lives, okay? So, sometimes we're in the deep end, and we're the drunk. Okay, we deserve to be in the water, but yet I don't want to be in the deep water. I don't want to be with the sharks. I want to be back on the cruise ship, and I want to really be enjoying the spoils of this world. But God, He sends some really difficult things our way, oftentimes. And if you look at your life, and if you've been a card-carrying member of the human race for any length of time, God has put you through it, but He has never one time ever abandoned you. Friends, can I share something with you? If you accidentally make poor decisions and you fall overboard, can I tell you who's with you in the water? King Jesus. Jesus is never going to leave you. And I think a lot of times, because of what we're going through, man, how could God ever do this? I mean, we chuck the towel in on God so many times. But listen. You can throw the towel in as hard as you want at God. He's going to throw it back at you, okay? Because He's in it for the long haul. And you can quit Him, but He's never going to quit you. And when I look at my Christian life, okay, really, when I got saved, I was under the illusion that everything from that moment on was going to be clear sailing, smooth waters, prosperity, blessing, healing. And it's rarely that. You know what it is? It's a lot of dead-end roads. It's a lot of detours. It's a lot of obstacles. It's a lot of pain. It's a lot of suffering. But in the midst of all that, there's those glimpses of light. There's hope. There's vision. There's the goals that God's given me that He does because I can't do them in my own strength. Guys, all of the zigzagging in life is for one reason. It's for you. You're like, Matt, how can it be for me? You don't understand what I'm going through. I can't. He can. Because you're not in it. You have to understand the sovereignty of God. Wherever you are, you're there by divine decree. And He hasn't left you. And some of you are suffering so greatly in this life. And you're under such affliction. And you're under such pain. But God has you in the kiln. And what is going to take place is going to be something beautiful. You can't see it, but He can see it. And you're like, well, Matt, how do you know that? Well, listen to Romans chapter 8, verse 18. The pain that you've been feeling cannot compare to the joy that's coming. You can't believe what God has in store for you, the plan and the purpose, and you can't see the finished product, where when God looks at you, He looks at you in light of eternity. He's not looking at you when you gave your life to Christ. Oh, He sees that day, and that's a victorious day, but He sees the finished product, okay? And He is so determined to get you there, and nothing is going to stop His decreed of will. The things that He allows us to suffer, that He decrees from heaven, that He pushes us into sometimes. And again, sometimes we do it in and of ourselves, but still, He has allowed that. I mean, even the things that we do, okay, that are absolutely wrong, and we get ourselves in hot water, okay? Listen, it's all within His what? His sovereign will, okay, or His permissive will. It happened, so it had to be allowed by Him, and He's going to use those things, okay, for good. Now, what you're going through and what you're living out right now may not seem good, but He's going to make good of it. There have been plenty of times in my life where, here's the thing, a person quoted me Romans 8:28. I wanted to punch him in the mouth. For all things work together for good to those who love the Lord, to those who are called according to His perfect truth, okay? But everything that I'm going through isn't good at the time. It's hard. I don't like it. I want out of this season, okay? I'm wanting to abandon ship in and of myself, okay? I'm wanting to just jump overboard and throw in the towel. God's not going to allow you to do that. How do we know that? Go to the book of Jonah. Okay? Jonah was wanting to chuck it. He's like, just throw me in there. Your problems will be over if you throw me overboard. Let me walk the plank. Jonah thought, I'm just going to end it because he was so rebellious and stubborn. Friends, okay, you can be stubborn, okay? But your stubbornness doesn't even match up to God's will and His plan and His perfect and what He speaks from heaven. They don't match up. I mean, honestly, why don't you go try to fight an F5 tornado? Have you ever thought about that? Walk up to a tornado and say, let's go, me and you. Who's going to win? I mean, look at even Job understood it. Job wanted an audience with God throughout the whole book of Job. As he's suffering, he just says, I want to prove my point. But God proved His point by just speaking. You know what I'm saying? Where were you, Job? I mean, God says that so many different times, okay? Because we just don't understand it and we hate pain. And we don't some of us do not like the season we're in. We just do not like it. It's hard, okay? And some of us have gotten so mad at God and God understands it. Listen, let me just tell you this. I've gotten mad at God before. And God is such a bigger man than me. King Jesus, oh my goodness, having the power to forgive those people as they were crucifying Him. Forgive them, Lord. They don't know what they're doing. Friends, here's the thing. What power, okay, what restraint, what love, okay? And that love is always being showered towards us. We don't need to run away from God in the midst of the pain, in the midst of the season, in the midst of the deep waters, whatever's going in your life, the things that have happened to you that were not expected. Sometimes it's a divorce. Sometimes it's a job loss. Sometimes it's something that happened to you. You got robbed. Someone spoke something against you. A family member betrayed you. You got stabbed in the back by a good friend. Friends, I hear it all on the Man Cave, okay? And it's real. Okay, but I'm here to tell you that my God is real and He has healing in His wings and He is the balm of Gilead. And so no matter what is going on in your life, cry out to Him in the midst of the deep waters. As sparks fly upward, we are going to have what? We're going to have a troubled life, okay? But God is never leaving us nor forsaking us. He says, nothing can separate my love from you. I'm in it for the long haul. Friends, Joshua, in his life, was following in the footsteps of Moses. Moses had everything handled. Moses was the man. Joshua, he was like the assistant pastor. I mean, it was all gravy, okay? Everyone that complains, they never complain about the assistant pastor, okay? No. When it hits the fan, here's the thing, the pastor's hearing about it, okay? But Joshua now, God says to Joshua, hey, Moses is dead. But as I was with Moses, I'm going to be with you. But listen to these 3 words, what God tells Joshua, okay? God says, be bold, be brave, be courageous. Because he knew what was going to be before him, okay? And it's the same thing many of you are going through. Some of you are really having a difficult time, okay? And because you're a Christian, you're not going to be shielded from it. God says it rains on the just and the unjust, okay? And bad things happen to God's children sometimes, okay? But God has never left us. He's not mad at you. He knew the things that you were going to do that were stupid. He knew some of you were going to chuck the towel in. Some of you were going to cuss. Some of you were going to shake your hand at God. God knows everything, every stupid thing Matt's ever done, and he knows the future things that I'm going to do, okay? And he's still in it with the long haul. He wrote my name down in the Lamb's Book of Life and yours, okay, before I was born, knowing all the different times I was going to crash and burn and sin so greatly against my God in heaven. And he knew it. That's why Jesus came. Jesus didn't come to save the righteous. He came to save the whores. Okay? He came to save the Peters. He came to save the prostitutes and the drug pushers and the alcohol and the people who have walked away from God and says, I don't want anything to do with you anymore. That's who he came to save, okay? Because when you're doing that, you're not in your right mind. Why would I ever leave someone who wants to bless me and love me and forgive me and cherish me and heal me, okay? I don't want to leave that person. I want to call out to that person and tell them how I'm feeling, tell them what's going on in my life, tell them I need help, tell them I don't want to go on anymore in this state. And here's the thing, he hears you and he will act. Guys, listen to Isaiah 41:10. Listen to this. Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will hold you up. I will give you my victorious right hand. God's given you his hand. His hand's always been out. We're the ones that have done this and put our hands in our pocket. I'm not taking your hand, Lord. You did this to me? Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. He still loves you. Oh, you don't know what I can do. He knows everything that you can do, and that's why he sent his son, because he knew what you could do. He understands. Don't brag about sin before Almighty God, okay? Your sin is never greater than the blood of God's son. Friends, your capacity to sin greatly against God is not greater than the blood and God's grace and mercy that can cover that sin. Do you understand? That's how powerful it is. Sometimes we sin and we do such rotten things in this world to people, okay? And oftentimes we think God could never forgive me. Don't place your sin, okay, higher than the blood of God's son. It's not. It's nothing compared to it, okay? God's son's blood washes away my sin, okay? It says this, while my sin was like crimson, deep and red, I'm going to make it white as wool. What does God want? Oh, God wants you to come back home, my friend. Listen. God wants you, you prodigal. Who are you talking to, man? I'm talking to myself. Who'd you think I was talking to? You little prodigal. You know what I'm saying? Getting the inheritance from your old dad. What'd you decide to do? Oh, I went and partied. I got drunk and I got away from everyone. Do you know in the story of the prodigal son, the thing that this prodigal does is he gets away from everyone that knows him. He doesn't want anyone seeing how he's acting, what he's doing. And friends, here's the thing. In Scripture, when we look at the original language, let me tell you, he was getting it on in this life, partying, doing all the things that he wanted to do, excluding God, almost eliminating God from his memory through drugs and through alcohol, okay, through women, it's there. It's all there, okay? He wanted to get away from everyone, but he could never get away from the presence of God, okay? And it was that presence that drew him back to his father, and his father has had his arms wide open the whole time. Remember this, God loves you. Life is not easy. Here's the thing. You want someone to tell you life is easy and lie to you? Go to some of these churches. Honestly, go to some of these churches nowadays. Look at, that's not real. That's not true, okay? Life is like you walked outside the front door and someone came at you with a baseball bat sometimes. I mean, that's how it feels, okay? We get the unexpected and we just don't understand why. And here's the thing. God's not sugarcoating, and God oftentimes will not tell us why. See, God isn't so interested in your comfort as he is in your conformity into the image of his son. He wants you and only you. And when I ask that question, what do you want? Think about it. What do you want out of this life? Is it only him? And that's where we get in trouble oftentimes, okay? We're thinking ease, comfort, pleasure. We're thinking I want an easy life, and God's thinking I got to get you from here to here, and I'm not going to lose you, okay? I go after the one, and God is screaming with a megaphone from heaven to some of you in the man cave this very minute, you're the one. I won't leave you. I won't forsake you. I'm not going to lose you. But I want to give a warning to you, okay? You think you can outrun God. You can't. He's a sprinter, okay? And he's running for love. You want to hear a great story? You're like, yeah, man, tell me a great story. I was in love with this girl, okay, at high school. And I was on the track team, okay? But she went from 9th grade to 10th grade, which was at the high school, and I was still in the junior high. And one day, there's this huge meet out there. You know, it's like 3 schools and it's a big deal. Okay, and there is this babe leaning over the fence, and I have, you know, she went to my school, and I knew of her, but I'll never forget, as I was walking and stretching, she said, hey, Matt, run fast. I was like, she knows my name. She knows my name. Listen. You think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. When I heard the little pop gun go off, I was supposed to take it easy because I'm doing the mile, okay? I sprinted 4 laps, okay, under the influence of love. Nobody had ever seen it because normally you can't go full blown doing that. There's 4 laps. I mean, you got to pace yourself. There was no pacing myself. I was running for love. I was just getting it on, and they're just like, look at this. I was watching it as I went by, clicking it and showing the time. Golly, this guy's actually getting it, man. He's on track for like a 4.5-minute mile. I was just booking it, man. Why? Love had a hold on me, and this girl was so beautiful, and every time I went by her towards that 4th lap, I almost didn't have anything left in the tank. I mean, the legs wanted to go, my heart wanted to go, and I just couldn't do it. But I'm coming up on her because she's on the last end before I start taking the corner, and she says, you can do it, Matt. You can do it. I'm telling you, I thought I had wings, baby. They were just like, oh my goodness, he's going to break the school record, the state record. He could break the 4-minute mile, okay? And oh, guys, God's running after you the same way. Guys, God's running after you. He's not going to give up on you. He loves you. He loves you. He doesn't care what you do against him because he can forgive all that. He's already taken care of that on the cross. Come back home. Do you understand what I'm saying? Come back home. And in the midst of the pain, in the midst of the suffering, in the midst of I didn't sign up for this, cry out to God and let him bring it. Because he's going to run to your door. He's going to wrap his arms around you in love. And he's not going to let go of you ever. He loves you. This is Matt, late night in the man cave. See you tomorrow.